So a lot of clients, a lot of candidates, job seekers, stakeholders have been calling me to say, Gavin, what is happening in the industry? What are the trends? What's new? What's out of favor? What's in favor? So try putting that all together very quickly. So 2020 has thrown up some very interesting trends. Number one is that the demand for top talent is through the roof. I've been doing this for 14 years. We've had a record year. And in the last 5 years of my business, Walker Phillip, this has really been a record year in terms of deal flow and revenue. So really thrilled about that. But it has been very interesting to analyze that 80% of our business has been new jobs. So this means our clients are growing, asset managers are growing, private equity firms are growing, building investment teams, building their distribution capabilities, and starting to increase the middle and back office. And that has been one of the biggest demands and trends that we've seen in 2020 that I haven't seen for many years before that. Clients are starting to hire chief operating officers, very specialist role, championing digital change, championing offshore strategies, taking over a lot of the daily operational functions from the CEO to free up that person's time to focus on sales, clients, and strategy. Also taking responsibility away from investment teams and your CIOs so they can focus purely on investment strategy. So there's been increasingly demand, quite a small pool of talent that can deliver those types of roles as COOs. We're also seeing companies build their marketing capabilities. It's really about brand positioning as they look to differentiate against other boutiques and compete against some of the more well-known brands. We're seeing companies bring legal and compliance functions back in-house. It's becoming more onerous, more burdensome. It's very complex, particularly if your firm is managing offshore strategies as well. And we're seeing quant analysts come into the industry as well. We've kind of predicted this about 2 years ago. We were maybe a bit ahead of the mark on that, but asset managers are bringing quant analysts into the industry. There's a very hard individuals to recruit. There's such a tiny pool of them. And the reason for this is to get more horsepower out of existing platforms like Bloomberg and FactSet. It's also to replace junior equity analysts, which are starting to fall out of favor. One quant analyst can replace 2 or 3 other headcounts. It's also to improve screening capabilities, particularly where offshore is a little bit undercovered. And we're also looking at an industry that is evolving the way they do distribution. So we're looking at hybrid BDMs entering the market. So traditionally we've had retail focus as your IFAs and direct clients and multi-managers, and then we've had institutional client facing, which is your asset consultants, pension funds, that kind of crowd. What we're going to see is a rise of a new hybrid BDM. This is going to be a R1 million plus type person who is going to oversee all of this, can easily deal with direct clients, your high-end IFAs, deal with the DFMs or the specialist multi-managers, and of course now asset consultants, institutional. It's going to be a very interesting hybrid person. This is the number one demand already on our books, and these people are very few and far between in the industry. So we're going to have to start looking outside of asset management, outside of the investment universe to bring this talent in. I've also mentioned now that the CEO role is evolving much more towards sales, strategy, client facing, building culture, driving strategy, and this is actually being present and being physically on the ground, going around the country, seeing people, not driving culture through Zoom calls and Teams and all that. And other sort of micro trends that we're seeing much faster recruitment timeframes, typically 2 to 5 weeks at the moment. That's an incredible turnaround. We're seeing the rise of DFMs and how that is evolving, and that might eventually go into the institutional space. We're seeing challenges and kind of the disruption of working from home, but by and large, it certainly seems to be working. But we're seeing clients introduce wellness programs, paying for their staff to do art lessons, guitar lessons, buying them running shoes, bringing psychologists into the business to help individuals who are working from home. Everyone's having their different stresses, but by and large, very interesting, very innovative ideas that CEOs are bringing in into their culture, into their organizations. We're seeing qualifications change as well. Unfortunately, junior sort of fresh CAs are no longer in demand. That's kind of fallen away. Clients are saying, we want someone with data science, we want someone with masters in finance, we want someone who's done an MBA but from a European or US school. Very kind of different diversity of thinking now that's happening, and not just engineers. That used to be the anomaly. That's kind of mainstream now. We're looking at arts backgrounds, philosophy backgrounds, geography, and also then individuals who have really excelled at something, whether they were a swimmer or a virtuoso violin player. Some of our clients are saying to us, we want people who have excelled at something outside of investments. Bring that person in because they come with a certain attitude and skill set that perhaps brings us that diversity of thinking that we don't have. What else can I say? We've got, as I say, we've got a very robust view of the market at the moment. We've collected incredible salary data. This is kind of very clearly shown inflation-linked salary rises, but at the senior end, these are outside benchmark, way above inflation-linked. The demand at the senior level has far exceeded at the junior level, which seems kind of obvious in many ways because companies are making sure that they're positioned for growth. They're making sure that they're positioned for succession planning. A lot of asset managers don't have succession planning kind of solidified at this stage. The demand for portfolio managers, you've seen good markets, bad markets, and generated alpha that's kind of through the roof. Very, very small pool in South Africa. And finally, we've got one of the most interesting things that I've been doing is 14 years. We've had a record year this year, and it is kind of defies belief. 80% of our business has been new jobs. Is clients that are growing, attracting new talent. The war for talent is really, really hectic right now. I expect continual demand. I expect asset managers to remain robust. I expect some consolidation and merging, and we've seen that happen already, but those kind of conversations were happening before COVID anyway, maybe just accelerated it a bit. And, some of the predictions are not always absolute. 2 years ago, everyone was predicting the end of sell-side analysts. Well, maybe it's been trimmed, but the sell-side analysts that we see are excellent. They're high caliber. They're very insightful. Giving better service, maybe have to change their style, they're giving even better service to asset managers. So nothing is absolute in this industry, but the acceleration of change is very clear, and we hope to see very, very prosperous 2021 for our clients and for the industry. I think it will continue to grow, and I wish everybody good luck.